Why Smart Capital chooses the new era of multi-level marketing. This is the 25th episode of the series segment Strategic Business Reset. Let me start with something most people won't say aloud. Capital is not emotional, it is not loyal, and it is definitely not nostalgic. Capital moves where structure is clean, risk is contained, and leverage compounds. Welcome back to Your Path for a Better You, your special forces unit for breakthrough living, where we decode the DNA of excellence to help you dominate personal and professional growth. I am Scarlett Marcel Bantedeja, and in today's mission, we will decode when smart capital shifts. Quietly, without noise, it is never an accident, it is a signal. And lately, there is a signal most people are missing because they are still arguing with a version of multi level marketing that no longer exists. Today, we are not talking about hustle. We are not talking about desperation. We are not talking about side gigs. My friends, we are talking about why disciplined operators, experienced entrepreneurs, and even families with generational wealth are positioning inside the new era of multi level marketing, not as a last option, but as a strategic one. And if this sentence makes you uncomfortable, good, my friends, that is usually where clarity begins. So, let's deploy. So, let's talk like adults for a moment. When intelligent people hear multi level marketing, most don't analyze it, they react to it, right? Their mind goes straight to the 90s, totally outdated. Door to door sellings, garages full of unsold products, friends avoiding phone calls. Yes, uneducated pressure tactics. Pyramids shape trauma. Depth disguised as opportunity. And yes, relationships born in the name of that opportunity. And because they are smart, they dismiss the entire category without revisiting the architecture. But here is the uncomfortable truth. That version of multi-level marketing is already dead. What is rising now looks nothing like it, especially in markets like Japan and the United Kingdom. Here is the thing smart people sometimes forget. Models evolve, markets mature, systems upgrade. Everything, my friends, everything changed. The question is not whether multi-level marketing had a problematic past. It did. The real question is whether the current model deserves to be judged by a dead version of itself. Because what is operating today, especially in markets like I already mentioned Japan and the United Kingdom, and other countries of Europe and North America, is not what most people think they are rejecting. Let's strip the emotion out for a moment. This is the real shift, nobody names. Traditional businesses, even franchises, are built on a simple equation: more locations, more staff, more overhead, more complexity. They can generate wealth, don't get me wrong, that is more than proven, but they rarely generate time unless you are already wealthy. Global expansion is slow, capital intensive, and operationally demanding. We mentioned this in the previous episode, the real advantage, multi-level versus traditional business in today's economy. If you would like more context, you can go back and listen to that episode. And just to be clear, this is not a moral judgment, it is math. Now, compare that with the new era of multi-level marketing, which is really a hybrid e-commerce franchise model. Copy these, my friends. These are the powerful points to notice. Product first, no recruitment first. Logistics handled at enterprise level. Automation replacing manual operations. Leadership development baked into the system. Distribution is scaling digitally, not geographically. This is not selling, It is distribution strategy. Distribution has always been where serious capital concentrates because products expire, systems don't. And distribution is where capital has always gone. Do you copy? And this, my friends, is where Christina's story matters, not as inspiration, but as evidence. Christina is a successful entrepreneur. She owns traditional franchises, the kind people admire. I mentioned that, me included. Proven systems, steady cash flow. From the outside, she had already won. So why did she choose to build Riemann, an e-commerce franchise model in parallel? Her answer was simple and honest. Traditional franchises scale through expansion of operations, no through leverage. Growth is real, but it is heavy. Riemann gave her something her franchises could not: global reach without multiplying locations, staff, or fixed overhead. That is, my friends, not replacing success. That is upgrading it. Now, here is the other side of the question. Rosa calls herself a regular person, a Korean immigrant in Canada. No local network, no access to her profession, working service jobs just to survive, even cleaning bathrooms at what point. Through Raymond, she built enough income to finance her family's dream: a dental technical laboratory in a foreign country. Same system, different starting line. That's the real distinction of this model. It scales both for people with capital and people without privilege. Allow me to share my own experience. For years, one of my goals was to franchise my spa. That is why I created my own skincare line. It was the logical next step. I fought for that vision for decades, and through that fight, I gained something more valuable than the franchise itself: clarity. I realized there are other options that allow you to leverage faster and scale further without multiplying operational weight. I went back to that old dream. I respect it, but I have outgrown it. I will leave it to younger, courageous entrepreneurs who want to build that way. This is not about quitting ambition, my friends. We must be clear about that. It's about upgrading the vehicle. Christina and Rosa's experiences are not unique. I have lived a long version of this path. I own a spa for nearly 3 decades. Opening a second branch meant starting over. Staff, location, training, divided attention. Clients, my friends, clients didn't want my hands replaced by employees. They wanted me. Building my own skincare brand was another mountain. Formulations, ingredients, compliance, name it, branding, packaging, logistics, importation, customs, regulations. Okay, let's leave it there. Not to mention the bankruptcy after COVID. I sold 2 properties, two, to invest in an enormous new location, and I lost everything. Yes, I did not recover a penny. That's, my friends, traditional business. It works, absolutely, but it is heavy. Today I'm growing internationally in the same field I have mastered for decades: skincare, without repeating those investments or headaches. And yes, my friends, I left my own brand to build with Riemann. Not because I failed, because I recognized leverage when I saw it. Now, here is where the conversation changed tone. In private leadership rooms, the dialogue around modern multi-level marketing looks very, very different from what you see online. Recently, it was shared in a close leadership call that members of the TAM family, long associated with large-scale traditional enterprises, have joined Riemann. Not as a trend, not as speculation, as a strategic positioning. Copy this, my friends. When people with power, capital, and options, not desperate, not excluded from traditional business, choose modern multi-level marketing, it destroys the idea that multi-level marketing is something people do only when they have no other choice, or that is a system that works only if you belong to the first, or that is only for those already having big networks, or for those heavy techs. That alone refrains modern multi-level marketing from a last resort into a calculated strategic move. Capital does not chase hype. It follows a structure and clarity. So let me tell you what that really means. If smart people, people with options, influence, and alternatives are choosing this path, it reframes everything. It shows that modern multi-level marketing is not about who is unlucky or underprivileged. It's about who understands leverage, boundaries, and disciplined execution. It is about building leaders, not just sellers. People who make decisions under pressure, carry credibility, and duplicate systems, not personalities. And here is the part most people miss. The old multi-level marketing scares them with pressure and constant presence. The new era does not demand performance. It rewards alignment. You don't have to do it all yourself. You don't have to be the loudest, the fastest, or the earliest. You have to learn, commit, and apply your discipline inside a system that amplifies you. That is where the real multiplication happens. This is not about convincing anyone. It is about recognizing that the new era of multi level marketing finally aligns with systems thinking, ethical leadership, boundary driving productivity, cultural discipline, especially in Japan, long term compounding, no short term noise. If you are sitting there wondering if this could be for you, do not overthinking it. Ask yourself, do you want a business that consumes your time or one that multiplies it? Do you want to chase results every day or design a system that works for you even when you step back? Because this is the shift. Not easy, not magic, just leverage, amplify it intelligently. Because copy this, my friends, the opportunity is not disappearing, it is evolving. And that's the thing about the new era of multi level marketing. It doesn't sell, it multiplies. It doesn't reward hype, it rewards strategy. And the people who see it early are not the loudest. They are the ones willing to think differently, to step in with intention, to build with clarity, and to scale without sacrificing what matters most. They know how to read signals before they become headlines. That is where real power resides. Not intelligence, not effort, but the ability to recognize a structure before consensus forms. That is what makes one person build wealth and another simply watch it happen. Riemann is a clear example of this alignment. The right structure, the right products, and the right moment. For those who understand how to read the signs, the timing is not loud, it's obvious. So here is my closing thought. Explore Riemann as a strategic operating model, not a side hustle. Copy this, my friends. You have listened this far and you feel that pull, the one that says maybe it's time to think bigger, act smarter, and lead differently. Then you are already aligned with the shift. And alignment, my friends, always comes before acceleration. Mission accomplished. Thank you so much for tuning into your past for a better you, your special forces unit for breakthrough living. Until next mission, stay sharp, stay grounded, lead with clarity, strength, and honor. See you in the arena.